Hey guys, it's Carter, and today I just wanted to come at you with a quick MSTR stock update. Used to be MicroStrategy, now it's called Strategy. Regardless, this is the last time I made a video on this channel right here. We were roughly $500 in price, and this is what I had to say about MicroStrategy stock.
This $500 level was around the top of the channel. We pierced the top of the channel. We pierced 500 up here, looking for a long-term drawdown that would possibly take us back to sub $200 on MicroStrategy within the next year and a half. Given the fact that we have seen this epic reversal engulfing now on the daily chart, we have already seen a top today.
This massive daily chart reversal engulfing purple candle right here that was so ugly and made us say, hey, the top of this stock could have already just been put in. And you can see that was in fact the top on this stock. We didn't go any higher within the last year. That has been the top so far. So where do I think this stock is going to head next? Well, before I show you and get into the analysis, I just want to show you really quickly what some people had to say about this stock when we were trading near $500. I just want to quickly show you some of the comments I got on that video. This is not to make fun of people, but rather to show you the sentiment of the viewers in that video. This comment reads, $200 isn't going to happen again. This comment right here says the short may have already been done, meaning there's not going to be any more downside. This comment right here says you're going to get wrecked if I decide to short this one again. And finally, this reply says MicroStrategy will be bigger than BlackRock, but that if Bitcoin falls to 50,000, then MicroStrategy can go under $200 again, but that he doesn't see that happening. So you can see that at the highs, the absolute highs of MSTR stock, people were overly bullish and using emotions and fundamentals to say, hey, this stock can't go any lower. This stock is going to go much higher. They were using emotions and fundamentals to justify their position in the stock, even though it had just run up from $100 to over $500 within the matter of months. But now, since then, MicroStrategy has now seen a 71% correction, and I'm interested in seeing what the comments are going to be like on this video. So without further ado, let's jump into the actual analysis. Where do I think MicroStrategy could be trading within the next few weeks and within 2026? So join me in this video. It could be shocking. So we're on the weekly chart of MSTR stock, and we got to talk about price action first, because since the highs here of over $500 in MSTR in November 2024, we're at $176.45 right now, by the way. But since the highs here of over $500, it actually looks more like an A, B, C correction to the downside than any sort of major trend change to the downside, impulses to the downside. I don't see them right now. I see an ABC three-wave correction, which leaves the door open for higher on this stock. But we have to keep time frame and perspective in the picture here, because it's not going to be today or tomorrow that we potentially break through $500 again to the upside. No, this could take a lot of time. But on the weekly chart, this looks like a healthy ABC correction to me, and that opinion will stay provided we hold the $100 support. We have key Fibonacci targets between $129, another target at $115, and we have to hold this major $100 support here in order to keep my ABC correction thesis as probable. So we cannot break below $100 on MSTR stock in a sustained way. So another important thing I want to show you on this stock right now is the RSI. We're oversold on the RSI. I want to show you the last few times we've been oversold on the RSI on the weekly chart on MSTR stock. So you can see that in 2022, this stock became oversold, and it wasn't the exact low. So we were oversold right here, wasn't the exact low. However, we did eventually make a slightly lower low, bottomed, and saw an impressive rally. So we did see a rally from around the $13, $14 mark to, well, over $500. So pretty good time to buy if you bought when we were last oversold. Now, the time before that, we were oversold right here in 2020, and you could have bought MSTR at around $9 when we were oversold right here. And it did, in fact, rip over $100, well over $100 to the upside. Within the matter of less than a year, we ripped over $100 from $9. And then the time before that, this is the one we have to be a little bit cautious about. This is the situation we have to be cautious about because the last time we were oversold before that, we saw more of a choppy sideways structure right here, which ultimately did break down and go lower. But we did see a rally from at least $12 to the high here of around $16.50. So there was upside, but it was a corrective structure, which is what we have to watch present day. All right, so here we're looking at present day MSTR stock, and we are oversold, looking at a bull flag here. So large bull flag, move up, sideways consolidation, a likely A, B, C structure forming, provided we stay above $100. And I just showed you the RSI. The last 3 times it was oversold, 2 of the 3 times we ripped to much higher levels. One of those times we formed a corrective bounce and broke lower, but we did go higher still in the short term. So because I believe we are close to a macro low on MSTR stock, what could be about to happen? Well, we could form a bottoming structure and see a corrective bounce. This is the situation we have to be cautious about because it could be a false rally that breaks much lower. So we have to watch the price action of the next bounce closely. We don't want to see a 3-wave corrective choppy structures to the upside. If, however, we see an impulse, if we see a bottom here made on MSTR and see 5 waves up and a corrective pullback, we can then look at much higher levels and we can talk about targets after the fact that we see a bottom. Because without a bottom on MSTR stock, it's hard to project targets, but I will say that it's probably, if we see an impulsive bounce rather than a corrective bounce, going to likely take us above $1,000 in 2026, possibly $1,200. Could be possible if we see this impulsive bounce from a low that we could be about to make on MicroStrategy. But to be crystal clear, we have to watch how we bounce and avoid a corrective bounce. We need to see an impulsive bounce with a corrective pullback to keep the $1,000 plus target as possible. With a corrective bounce, forget it. That's not going to happen. So quickly, I just want to flip over to the daily chart of MSTR stock and show you what I'm expecting in the short term. So short term of MSTR stock here, I'm not convinced with this bounce we've made so far. On the shorter time frames, this looks like a corrective bounce in the making, and provided we stay below these resistance levels right here between 238 and 263, provided we're not breaking above 260 in the short term in a sustained way, I do believe we're likely going to go lower. However, I have started accumulating this stock a little bit, a really tiny position, in the event that, hey, we did see a bottom, which I don't think is likely right now. I do believe we are probably going lower towards the 130 to 115 and possibly $100 target because this bounce so far in the short term looks incredibly corrective. So we have to watch this, but I am expecting lower levels in the short term in the next few weeks on MSTR stock. But I do believe we are much closer to a macro low than people may think on MSTR. But we'll have to wait and see how we react at the lower support levels if we find our way down there. So thank you for watching this video. Take care. Have a good one.